Good evening, everyone. So quiet. Good evening, everyone. All right. Thank you for coming out. We weren't sure if we were going to have a good turnout or not because of the weather. In case your student hasn't already informed you that we will not have school tomorrow. We were actually getting some lunch, and a student said, "Are you glad you're not having school tomorrow?" I'm like, "Of course we're not." But I know that everyone is here and very excited. I'm Miss Deborah, proud principal of the best high school in Escambia County Schools. I want to introduce the rest of my team that's here with me tonight. We have Mrs. Jordan, assistant principal for student services, Mrs. King, assistant principal for school instruction, and last but not least, we have Miss Stephanie Edwards, your senior counselor. And the man in the back is Mr. Dawson, who is recording this evening, who is also our high school career academy teacher of the year. So I don't want to leave that out. It seems like in the fall we were just like a month ago, and here we are. I told y'all it was going to go fast. It was going to go super fast, and here we are, like a little bit more than 6 weeks out. So we are here. We actually had a meeting this afternoon, Ms. King and I, at the Pensacola Bay Center to work out all of the logistics. So we are here, ready or not, but you all are ready. So we wanted to have, this meeting is a little bit different than the one that we had in the fall, right? We talked about everything that you need to do to prepare academically, test-wise, for graduation requirements. So right now you've already accomplished those things, right? And so we're going to talk about the day of graduation and how do we go about that day. Very important moment. So we will talk about all of the details from preparing for it, from the things that you're wearing, from the arrival that you will have here at the school. We'll go through all of those details. So it's an exciting time. It's a very important ceremony. So without further ado, I will bring up Ms. Edwards, and she will start talking to you about communication up until that point.
All right, so my slide is pretty basic and to the point. So if you have any questions, concerns, anything about graduation status, where they stand, this is the best way to get in touch with me. So my email, if I'm ever not in my office, so if I'm helping administer a test or anything like that, email is the easiest way, and it's sedwards1@ecsdfl.us, which is also on the website if you don't have that down. My direct office number, you can call the school and ask to be directed towards me. As we get to the end of the year, voicemails, I try to get to them within 24 to 48 hours. And I do have a parent remind. I've also sent out the student remind to everyone, but the parent remind is what I send out. Any big things like the parent meeting today, anything else that I think a parent should be aware of, I try to send out as well. And then a lot of letters went out right around spring break, just kind of giving an update on some certain student statuses about testing credits or GPA if anyone was deficient in those, and just giving a big heads up about that to make sure we were all on the same page about where we stand in terms of graduation. And now Ms. Jordan.
Thank you. Good evening. As Ms. Ray stated, I'm Ms. Jordan, Assistant Principal of Student Services. In January, we had some meetings with parents with those students who had not met graduation requirements as of January. So now, at this point, we've been monitoring students from Q3 and in Q4. So if we are calling you at this time to discuss your student, it's because they have, had an oopsie in Q3 or Q4, and they are now deficient in a graduation requirement. So it's very important that if we reach out to you, that you come in and meet with us so you can kind of understand what's going on. 9 times out of 10, it's something that we may be able to fix, but we need parent support, and we just want everyone to be on the same page in reference to the student. If your student is deficient in the testing requirements, we do have some upcoming testing dates for ACT and SAT. For SAT, we have May 4th, And these tests are the ones that the students have to register on their own. If they have not used their waiver through Ms. Edwards, they still may receive a waiver to pay for those tests. If they've used their waiver, then you will have to pay for those tests on your own. So May 4th for the SAT, and then we have a June 4th administration. For ACT, we have April 13th. Ms. Ray gets on to me about putting on my glasses. And then we have June 8th, 2024. So those are the dates for SAT and ACT, and you know both of those tests have concordant scores that can satisfy that Algebra 1 requirement and that FSA reading requirement. We do have an additional opportunity that is new to Pine Forest High School, and we're definitely blessed to have this opportunity. It's the CLT test, the Classic Learning Test. It's comparable to the SAT and the ACT, so we are actually the pilot school to be able to utilize this test to fulfill those requirements. We will give that here in-house on April 24th. What they're telling us is that we get the results back by April 30th. So that's good information. It's a quick turnover. We've also registered to give that test on May 11th, which is a Saturday. So if they do not receive the score on April 30th, they have another chance on May 11th, which we get those scores back on May 14th. So either way, they will know their status by graduation. So it's a great opportunity. The students just need to be here. They're preparing them in their English classes with the materials that they need to be successful. We just need you all to support us in making sure that they're here on time and prepared to take the tests. If you have any questions on any of those things, I will be around after the meeting. And now with the fun stuff is Miss Emily King.
So what I'm going over is actually one of the handouts that was up here on the front table. I can give everybody a minute if you didn't get to grab it, because it is back in front and quite possibly the smallest font that we can put it on that you can still read. So it has all the details from every senior event that's upcoming to graduation practice to graduation. So if you did not get to grab that, as well as that senior exam schedule, there's also a copy of prohibited items at the Bay Center. And then the letter that Ms. Ray is going to go over when I am finished. If you are watching this recording, per Mr. Dawson, thank you again, all of these are going to be posted right by that recording. So when we're referring to our particular handouts, you should be able to click on the link to read those online. I'm not going to read it word for word. There are two really important sections that I will. But the big thing is what has already been touched on in the beginning is your graduation requirements. Ms. Jordan and Ms. Edwards have already said they've had those meetings with particular students who may have some requirements that are still in need. But again, if you don't have those things, you cannot graduate, but that's an individual conversation. One thing that we will be able to tell you tonight is about your fines. You cannot walk or receive that diploma if you still owe fines. And someone is always going to get something that you still owe a fine from elementary school. We don't know why they don't track you down after 5th grade or why they don't say something after 8th grade. But after we're complete here out in the commons, we have 4 tables set up alphabetically. If you owe a fine, we'll have a sheet for you. If you do not owe a fine, we have nothing. So you could, if you want to double check, we can check to see if you owe something. If you owe Pine Forest, Mr. DeNordis is actually going to speak about that and how you would pay us. But if you owe a previous school, you do have to go to that school and pay that fine. Okay, if there are any questions, we can talk to you about fines out there. Dress code for graduation. Males need to, it's basically dressing nicely. Okay, dress pants, a white shirt, a tie, dress shoes. The females, same thing. I know it sounds like we're being a little particular about the shoes when we say a back strap, but I'm going to get to that when we talk about practice. But the shoes you wear are pretty important, not only for safety, but for being comfortable. You walk a lot in those shoes. You don't really want your dress length to be much longer than your gown because it just doesn't look as neat and tidy when you have that beautiful blue gown on. So just watch that length. We will not let you wear any jeans or tennis shoes or flip-flops, but after this, you're going to see that if you have any trouble getting any of these items, we are blessed to have a clothing closet and can help provide those things if needed. Your cap and gown should have been ordered by now. If it hasn't been, I would stress to you to get it done sooner than later. We have most of them in. I do have a list of seniors who have had it ordered and that we have on campus. You are required to wear that cap and gown if you attend senior honors night, and it is required at graduation. We do not make you wear that to graduation practice. If you have any questions about ordering your cap and gown, please let me know after this. It's going to be from herfjones.com, but the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. So I'm just telling you, if you haven't done it yet, let's get that done ASAP. One big thing, your cap has the mortar board. You cannot decorate your cap, okay? I know you see that in colleges and maybe some other high schools that are out of our district, but that is a district rule for us. We do not wear anything extra except awards, and we do not decorate the tops of our caps. Senior exams, please make sure you pick up that schedule. It is here before you know it. May 10th is our first senior exam, and seniors' last day is May 15th. So it's a month away, y'all. It's 4 weeks away. And now it's one less day because we're home tomorrow. So the next senior activity is actually Friday is field day, okay? Friday is field day. And then after that, the next one is baccalaureate, which is a non-denominational church service where we all just get together at Calvary Baptist Church, and he just gives everybody an inspirational message. And afterwards, last year, they had a ton of food. So more food than I'm pretty sure anyone could finish. But it's about an hour long, and it's just there to inspire our graduates for their next step after graduation. If you're using the handout, I'm on the second side. Senior Honors Night is Tuesday, May 20th. That is, every senior is welcome to attend. The seniors who are receiving honors, like a superlative in a course, a cord from an academy, an NHS stole, all of those seniors will receive an invitation, but we invite every senior to attend the award ceremony. It starts at 6, but the doors for seniors, we'd like you guys to be here no later than 5:30 because we do walk in as a group. Okay, we meet in the commons and we all walk in as a group. Senior breakfast is going to be, I feel like this might not be right. Okay, it is on May 21st, and then so is graduation practice. So Wednesday, May 21st is when you'll come. We're going to have it in here, and I know you're like, oh, the cafeteria. I promise it doesn't look the same. We really fix it up. It's great. The food is fantastic, and so I think you guys will really appreciate that senior breakfast. That is a day that the underclassmen are still here, so we will stick it out in here, and then we'll begin graduation practice after the breakfast. I'm going to read everything about graduation practice, so please bear with me. Please don't be late to graduation practice. If you don't come to the breakfast, that's fine, but you have to attend graduation practice. So like it says, set 3 alarms, have a friend call to wake you up, make sure that your car starts or that you have a ride, because we will not accept any excuses. You need to be here. If you can't arrive on time, it'll be like you weren't here. So make sure it's better to be here early than late. You should arrive no later than 12 p.m. if you don't have a plan to attend that breakfast. We will start right at 12:30, but you will be in the classrooms. You will be divided up in classrooms, alphabetical order, with the row usher that you'll have at graduation. It's one of our staff members who will basically be like your leader for graduation. They're going to go over all the rules. They're going to be there at graduation on the floor with you. So that's where you'll start, and then we'll proceed to the gym to practice. It is very much recommended that you wear the shoes for graduation to the practice. We walk a lot. So you walk to the buses, you're walking here, you walk from the buses to the Bay Center. When you get to the Bay Center, you have to walk to your row. You have to stand in line at graduation so that we're all up there in order. and you're on your feet. So I really can't stress to you enough. We always have someone every year who's very uncomfortable by the time they walk across the stage, and it's very obvious that they're uncomfortable. So wear those shoes, practice them, break them in, because the worst thing on such an amazing day for you is for you to be uncomfortable. So please, break in those shoes and wear them to that practice. They don't have to, it'll still look cute if you're wearing jeans with some heels. It always looks nice, okay? If you have jeans with some dress pants, everyone knows what you're doing, so don't worry about looking silly, okay? You don't have to dress it up, just practice in those shoes. Parents are not allowed to attend graduation practice. They can pick you up at 2. Please, when we're in there, don't move any chairs in the gym, because when we're done, we're resetting it for your senior honors night. Oh no, the senior honors night the night before, I'm sorry, that's where I was mixed up. And at practice, you're going to receive a grad images card. That's so when you walk down the stage, you're going to have your picture taken in your cap and gown. Because once you guys graduate, we no longer have you in our email system. So you have to put another email on there so grad images can send you that proof if you want that graduation picture as you're walking off the stage. So we'll go over that, but that card is very important. Pine Forest is very different with graduation. We bus you to the Bay Center. So even though our graduation is at 12:15, we're going to have all of our seniors meet here on campus at 8. We'll make sure everyone is dressed the way they need to be. If anyone needs a tie, needs a pair of shoes, has a pair of hose that have a hole in them, we're going to help you take care of it. And then we're going to bus you to the Bay Center so that we all arrive together and we can ensure that all of our graduates have transportation. So you will meet here. You'll go back to the same room from graduation practice. We'll walk around and we'll make sure that everyone is here in attendance. And then we'll call you room by room to load the buses. And then we actually are going to have a police escort this year because it's a holiday weekend. And we're going to make sure that we don't have any issues getting to the Bay Center. You never know what May is going to bring us as far as weather. So we also want to make sure that we get there on time, start on time. If anything, we'll be there early like we were last year. And it was great because everyone was not stressed and it gave everybody time to get in there. And you'll find your row with your name on it, and it'll just be fun to wave to your family in the crowd. So please make sure that you have what's prohibited. They will not let you come in with any of those prohibited items. They said something about balloons today at the meeting, but it's not on there. So maybe better safe than sorry, avoid a balloon, because I would hate for you to have to walk back to your car because the parking is not great around the Bay Center. And before us is West Florida High School, which is a big one. They always have a lot of people in attendance. So just give your time for parking. And they did say, please watch where you park because East Hill wreckers are out there ready to tow people. So make sure you pay to park, you read what the parking thing is. We don't want anyone to get back to their car and it not be there. So just be very careful about where you are. And diplomas, we don't give out till the next day. And that one little note at the bottom, please make sure that you're on your best behavior. We have had this happen where people just did not listen to the rules, and we did pull their diploma until there was a conversation had, okay? So we don't want that to happen again, but do know that that is a stipulation as far as the district with graduation. If there are any questions, my email's on there. That's all I have. And Mr. Nenordis is up.
Hello, everyone. I just want to clarify something really fast about Chromebooks. If you receive your paper from Ms. King or me saying that your student has a Chromebook out, that doesn't necessarily mean they actually have it out. Come to me before you pay any Chromebook-related fines because it could save you about $295 if Destiny, our checkout system, says you still have a Chromebook when you've actually turned it in. So please, before any Chromebook fines, come to me. I will be out there so I can check whether you did turn it in or not. That is it.
My name is Mr. Franklin. I'm over discipline and student interventions and attendance. It's very, very important that with this only being a week away for graduation, that we are here every day so we can complete those graduation requirements. And behavior. Behavior is important. Talk with your students about peer pressure. We have had students with these last 30 days they would do something to prevent them from graduating or be removed from school, whether it's something small as being in possession of a vape, whether it's small as drama. Just please, these last 30 days, make sure that you talk with them about their behavior so they don't do anything to be removed from this day that we all look forward to. Also, attendance. We have prom coming up. We are looking back at contracts for any students that may have had any attendance issues. Our goal for the district is 95%, but we are making some exceptions for those students that may be close to that mark. So we are looking at prom contracts. I know that day is coming pretty fast, so it's very important that your students are here every day as we get ready to approach this last month of school. And once again, please make sure that the behavior is on point at the graduation as well too. Like Ms. King said, don't do anything that our superiors will be upset about. We've been great these last couple of years, so it's just very important that we just maintain dignity as we walk across the stage as we get ready for our graduation day. And I guess I'll pass it up to Ms. Ray to wrap us up.
Okay. So I have the parent letter that you would also have. And I'm going to read some of the things verbatim just so that we can be very specific. So like Ms. King said, we will be here at the school. We will arrive at 8 and we will leave. I know it says 10 o'clock, but if you're here, we may be leaving as early as 9:45, just depending on the weather and if we have any information about potential traffic being the holiday weekend. So as long as you are here and you all get on that bus, then there won't be a problem. We have had some exceptions as far as having some late students. It's really hard to get you to where you're supposed to be as far as where your name is on your chair, and that's why we like to leave together. But we know things happen. So if that happens, we will direct Mr. Kinzer, who's over security and protection services for the district. We will let him know that you all are allowed to come in, but you may not be in your appropriate seat. So we'll just kind of wing it so that you can still participate. But we would love and prefer for you all to start your morning with us. It's just the easiest way to allow for any of those things that may or may not happen. Okay, we've already gone over the attire. And because we give you everything that you need, we are sticklers for what that looks like, right? It's all brand new things. We do a great job of ordering. We get some males who give us some tips as far as preferences for shoes and things like that. And so everything is brand new. We provide that. We've had a lot of our teachers come and help tie ties in the morning. So that's why we get here so early, to make sure everybody is wearing what they need to wear and are looking accordingly. It is a formal ceremony. It's so important. I mean, you guys have worked so hard. I know it's something that you all look forward to. Parents, grandparents, family, and you all do too. And I will reiterate this at practice, like no foolery on that day. I know it's cool to do flips. I know it's cool to do a cool dance, but it's really not, right? It cost someone Hall of Fame last year. And it was like 2 seconds. So it's really not worth that 2 seconds of just really causing a blemish that's recorded for everyone to see, okay? Looking at the restricted items, we did give you all a list of those things that are restricted. As far as our seniors, and we have to have this conversation every year. We even had a call last year to the district about cell phones, right? So seniors will need to leave all personal items, including cell phones, with their family members. Every one of the adults that are assigned to the room monitors has access to a cell phone. So if there is an emergency, we can certainly do that. It has caused a distraction. That's why you just don't want cell phones on our students, whether you forget to turn your ringer off and a song is playing during a ceremony. So it's just best to leave them with your families, and then you'll get them back, of course, when the ceremony is over. They still are recommending the personal protective equipment. If you are wearing a face mask, then it should be plain solid colored mask. There's going to be a live coverage of that. The doors will open to guests at 11:15 a.m. At the conclusion of the ceremony, guests are asked to leave immediately because we will have other schools that are trying to get in as well. We'll be picking things up and just escorting everyone out. So it's our goal for all students to be able to participate in the graduation ceremony. And last year was a big deal. So if any of those requirements are not there, if you're missing your testing, if you don't have the GPA, you're not participating in that graduation ceremony. So it's very, very important that you all ask before that week of. And I say this every year, and it happens every single year. If it's that week of and you don't have that requirement, it's going to be too late. So if you're asking your student, do you have everything, I would make them show you. If you don't know how to get on to Focus, they know how to get on to Focus. If you had a letter notification, we've had phone calls, we've had meetings, you should know right now where your student stands. And if there is a situation, we still have time to remedy that. We had students last year working up until the night before, and that creates a hardship that's unnecessary. We have had tutoring. We've had Sylvan. We paid almost $600 per student so they can have tutoring in each of those areas. So there's nothing that we haven't provided that your student needed. So everything that you need, you would have already had. So if you have any questions this evening, right, if there's any doubt, please, we have 6 weeks. And the week before is going to be too late. By then, you already have your cap and gown. You got family that bought their tickets. And it's a really hard conversation, but it's a conversation we'll have every single year. Well, I'm sorry that you've got to maybe have a party. It's Memorial Weekend, but that baby's not graduating. So that is a very hard conversation. Do not wait until a couple of days before to find that information out. I cannot emphasize it enough. So like Ms. Jordan said, we do have another test that we didn't have last year. I hear it's like over 92% success rate. So we're saying we're putting all of our eggs in that CLT basket. I do think that it will clear up anyone who doesn't have like a reading requirement or a math requirement. But we have to be here in order to take it. We found out just a couple of days ago that there's another one in May that we'd get that result. So we're going to sign up everyone automatically. If we signed you up for the April 24th, you're automatically signed up for May 11th. If you pass it, we'll just take your name off. But that is a Saturday, and that is the last opportunity to have that information. If you don't have all of your requirements for graduation, you will not participate in the ceremony. I'm only doing that because when we've let people do that, we don't get anything but beyond that certificate of completion. And it's cool to walk across the stage, it's cool to look nice and to take those pictures, but at the end, it's more important to actually have your diploma. So I want you to be proud of the certificate of completion because there's no way that you should settle for that. And that's why we put that stipulation on there, and it made them work a little bit harder last year. So are there any questions about that? So today probably wouldn't be the day to get that specific information, so definitely either contact Ms. Edwards about those requirements. If you do want to, there's a lot of you here, I just don't know how long that would take. But if we don't get to your questions tonight about those specific requirements, we'll definitely get back to you. So you really need to have that sit down if you don't know already. Okay. As far as the honors night, that's a very nice celebration. We have had so many medals right now for A and B honor roll. And if you started last year when we started giving them out, you're going to just have like a chest full of medals, and you can so wear that for graduations, like your medal of honor, your badge of honor for all of the hard work that you have done. This is going to be an emotional graduation, I think, because everyone's done so well. Like we were looking at our data today, and how many of you have worked so hard. Very few of you are where we were as far as last year, like not having those requirements. So the work that you'll have done has been outstanding. So I'm just super excited about what we've done, how much we've grown, and where you all are going. So I know that you all may have some questions. If you have any at this time, we'll be happy to answer them. But I just think that you guys have done an outstanding job. Like how many of you are right here, wanting to know what you need to do for graduation. We've got field day, and before you know it, it'll be time to go. So just cherish the moments. I know a lot of you have bought yearbooks, so I think it's just going to be a really good year for you guys to have those memories and capture everything that you've done to work so hard to be where you are today. So thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer. Ms. Gross is out there in the commons, but just give yourself a round of applause for number one, making it this far. It is a big deal. You've overcome so much and worked so hard. Parents, give yourself a round of applause, right, for hanging in there. and working just as hard as your students. So thanks again for coming out, and go Eagles.